Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pet Food Puzzle Guy. I appreciate you being here, and I just wanted to invite you. This session is part 3 of What's on the Bag, and I've labeled this or titled this video the ingredient game, the dog food ingredient game. And it really is a game, and it's a game you really don't want to play, because if you play this game, you're going to lose. What I mean by that is you're looking at that ingredient panel, which makes sense to you, and all the videos that I go on the internet that inspired me to make my own channel, they all rush to that ingredient panel and they're all having discussions. This food's better than this one because of these ingredients, and these are bad ingredients, and these are good ingredients. And I'm sure the pet food marketers out there just love that that's what people are doing, because it's exactly what they want you to do. Okay, they want to keep you playing their ingredient game because they basically have control of that game. What am I actually saying? Let me explain. The ingredient panel is not a tool for you as a consumer to figure out what's in that food. That's what you think it is. What it is really is, for the pet food marketers, it's their best tool to convince you to buy their food. And they all play the game, every one of them, and you know what I'm talking about. Look at the bag of food that you have at home or that you're looking at the store. What's the first thing you're looking for? Is meat the first ingredient? Every single manufacturer is pushing that on you. Chicken is the first ingredient, lamb is the first ingredient, because for some reason you have been conditioned that that should be at the first ingredient. The pet food marketers have done an amazing job of doing that. You need to understand that the ingredient panel, the way it works, and this is the law, okay? Just like I told you, the bag is a legal document. Well, this is part of the legal document. By law, the ingredient panel has to work from heaviest ingredient down to lightest ingredient. So the heaviest ingredient is number 1, next heaviest is number 2, right on down to those little mineral supplements at the bottom that barely weigh anything. They have to follow that law or that rule, okay? What they do, though, is very sneaky. Do you want to buy a food that has corn as the first ingredient? Of course not, because we've all been conditioned, well, that would be terrible. Corn is just a filler. I don't want to spend $80, $90 on a bag of food that's full of corn. I want meat. So the manufacturers make sure you get just what you want, so to speak. You look at that ingredient panel, you see real chicken is the first ingredient. What you don't understand is, remember I said, it's by weight. Well, what is real meat? Not the quality. Let's not even talk about the quality. Real meat is what? 70, 80% water. Water's heavy. Just a little bit of meat, with all the water still included, shoots right to the front of the ingredient panel. So the manufacturers barely invested much in meat because it's mostly water, but Mrs. Jones is happy to spend extra money because she's getting chicken as the first ingredient. That's how it works. I'm sorry, but that is not the main protein source in that food when you see meat as the first ingredient. Oh, I don't know if you could hear that, my Bella's barking. The other thing they'll do is they'll take the grains and other ingredients and make sure they split up the names. They can come up with 3 or 4 names for rice, for wheat, for corn. What that does is splits up the weight of those grains, so that that chicken or lamb, whatever, goes to the front of the ingredient panel. So the ingredient panel is nothing but manipulation to get you to spend more money. It's not telling you anything about the quality of that food, but yet I go to these videos all the time, and I'm a glutton for punishment, because it makes me nuts when I hear these people saying, well, this food's good because it has real meat, and this one, the first 5 ingredients are meat, and this one has meal, so it's bad, and this one has corn, so I would never feed that. Again, the manufacturers, the pet food marketers just love it, because that's exactly what they wanted it to do. I'll show you how crazy this is. I'm going to show you a food. This was a food back in the 80s. Okay, I'm going to keep going back to the 1980s and shows how old I am. But back in the 1980s, there was a food that was very popular among breeders. It had an ingredient panel that looked like this: meat meal, ground corn, animal fat, and then everything else. Very popular, really good, seemed like a good food. But the meat meal was mostly beef, and beef was getting more expensive. Chicken was becoming much more economical, and lots of it because we were all eating more chicken back then. So what they did is they said, well, we'll keep some of the beef, but we'll add chicken as well. So if anything, they improved the quality of the diet. But what about the ingredient panel? The 3 pounds of meat was now split into a pound and a half, let's say. What happened to the corn? The 2 pounds of corn, they didn't add any more corn, but the 2 pounds of corn became the heaviest. So it went to the front of the ingredient panel and it looked like this. Well, guess what? The breeders went absolutely insane. They were claiming their puppies were being born with only 3 legs and no eyes and 2 tails. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but the breeders went nuts. Oh, it's a corn-based food. They've sold out. I'm not buying that food. And again, reality, they improved the diet, but the ingredient panel, being honest back then, not a tool by marketers, it reflected the change in the weights. That was the last time a food company was ever honest with their ingredient panel. That never happened again. Now it's all manipulate that ingredient panel to get you to think you're getting something better than you really are. Sorry. Okay, before we get started looking at ingredient panels, I just want to throw up this one question for you to think about, okay? Take a look at this question. What's most important in your dog's diet, nutrients or ingredients? I want you to think about that. We'll get to it later. But what first comes to mind? Maybe you know what you think the answer should be. What's most important, the nutrients or the ingredients? Okay, let's go on to an ingredient panel. Okay, so this first one here shows us deboned turkey. So this, I'm sure if you looked at the front of the bag, is a turkey flavor or with turkey, something like that. I'm sure they're promoting turkey. And when I, as a consumer, look at the bag, what do I see? Oh, the main ingredient is deboned turkey. That sounds great. Remember, think about the weight law, okay? Deboned turkey, the bones have been removed, but it's still 70-80% moisture, so it goes right to the front of the ingredient panel. Look at the next ingredient. The very next ingredient is turkey meal. Now, why do I need turkey meal as the next ingredient if the main ingredient is deboned turkey? It's because that's mostly water weight to get it up there to make it look good. The turkey meal is actually the main protein source so far. That is dried. Think of a meal. All the moisture has been taken out. It's kind of like a brown powder, but it is all turkey protein. There's no water in it. So that is actually the main protein source. But notice the next ingredient is chicken meal. So here's a food being promoted as turkey, and that's fine. But here's chicken meal. Again, chicken meal means the water has been taken out, so it is a main protein source. It's not just there for looks. So the chicken meal and the turkey meal are the main protein source in this diet, but to get a better price, to make it look premium and wonderful to the consumer, we see deboned turkey as the first ingredient. It doesn't take much deboned turkey with all the water weight to get it to the front, and that's the trick. That's what they do. The other thing they'll do is the grains and stuff, they'll split those up so that their weights get split up and go further down the ingredient panel, and the water weight moves further up. So that's why they do that. All right, so here's another one, and we see deboned beef as the first ingredient. So we can definitely bet that on the front of this bag, it's featuring that this is a beef-based food. Again, now we know that's mostly water weight. That's just to get a good price on the bag. Let's look for the real protein sources. Well, we see chicken meal. So this is actually a chicken-based food. There's the protein source. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm sure Mrs. Jones thinks she's spending good money on deboned beef, and that's what her dog loves. My dog loves beef. Well, actually, he loves chicken. Then there's brown rice. That's carbohydrate. Then there's turkey meal. So there we go. We got some more turkey again. So now there's nothing wrong with this, guys. Beef, chicken, turkey, that's fine. But do you see how misleading? They think they're getting beef, but they're at the main protein sources in this food are what? The turkey meal and the chicken meal. Now, let me ask you, and I'm going to ask you each time, how do I know the quality of that fresh beef? How do I know the quality of that chicken meal? Okay, one last one. Here it is. Deboned chicken is the main ingredient or the first ingredient. And there's the chicken meal, the real protein source. And again, how do I know which of those is even a quality ingredient? So are you getting the feeling that people just don't want you to be able to look at that bag and figure out the quality of a product, right? That's just the way it is. It's very frustrating. We are going to pick this up on the next video, but I do want to answer that question for you, and then I'll follow up with it because this one's running long. I apologize. What is the answer? What's most important, nutrients or ingredients? It's not a trick question. Sure sounds like it. But the nutrients provided in that diet, the protein, the calcium, the phosphorus, the dietary fat, the fatty acids, on and on and on, all those nutrients, that's what's going to affect your pet's health. That's what's either going to put them at risk of certain diseases that they may be prone to if those levels are unbalanced or excessive or deficient. We've already discussed there's no deficiencies. If those nutrients are at optimal levels, they help promote good health and may reduce the risk of certain diseases, especially age-related diseases. Ingredients deliver those nutrients. Did you hear me? We'll pick this up next time, but the subject next week, I guess, or next episode should be glamour ingredients. But every ingredient that gets put in a food is delivering nutrients. And you have to decide, is that food company grabbing the ingredients that are going to produce the nutrient profile I want for that animal, whether it's healthy, whether it's sick, whether it's a puppy, whether it's a geriatric dog, a senior dog. You have to decide, is that company doing that? If they're picking glamour ingredients, as I call them, that sound great, but no one's looking at the nutrients they're delivering, am I actually getting a healthy diet for my pet? Again, go back to marketing. I might feel really good. These ingredients sound so wonderful. The people talking about them, these are sourced this way and they're fresh and they're real and they have all these words out there, all emotional words to make you feel good, okay, even biologically appropriate, okay, we'll get into that. But all this wonderful verbiage about a description of an ingredient. So back to the meals and the fresh meat. How do I know if this meal is good or this fresh meat is good? Here's the secret. I have not heard one single person on all of the internet, of all these videos I've watched, not one person has mentioned this. What's the key word or the root word of nutrition? Nutrients. If you want to know if a meat meal or a fresh meat is pure and good and just has good quality protein and not a bunch of bone, hair, hoof, chicken lips, whatever in it, look at the mineral content. Look at the calcium and the phosphorus level in that food, okay? If it's high, if it's very high, where'd that come from? Are they adding that for some reason? They have a board certified nutritionist that's telling them to add excessive minerals? No, it's in the meat meal. It's in the fresh meat. Okay, that deboned chicken as the first ingredient should be pretty low in calcium and phosphorus. It's deboned, but then the chicken meal next to it, guess what? It must have something in there because the calcium or the phosphorus level in that food is through the roof. So while everybody's talking about these glamour ingredients, and this sounds so much better than this one, and the AAFCO minimum standards are this, and da-da-da-da-da, it doesn't mean anything. It's telling you nothing. It's real simple. Show me the mineral content. Show me the calcium and phosphorus. If I look at 4 foods, whoever has the lowest mineral content, they're spending the most money on the highest quality ingredients. And it's going to be the healthiest for my dog. That's it, guys. That's nutrition. Deliver the nutrients that my pet can use, my dog, my cat, to maintain their good health, to promote their good health, and reduce the risk of age-related diseases. And again, that's more from avoiding excesses than it is deficiencies. It's avoiding the imbalances. When you have all these food companies with these fancy glamour ingredients and nobody's asking them what the nutrient levels are, I guarantee you're not getting a healthy diet. Go back to the all life stage AAFCO statement. If it says all life stage, what do we say? It's puppy food. Do you have a puppy at home? No? Then why are you feeding that diet? Why are you trusting your pet's health to that food company that's giving you an all life stage food? That doesn't even make sense. That's not even optimal nutrients. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay. I got my grumpy shirt on because this topic gets me pretty grumpy. So that's why I wore this shirt today. I was pretty good. I'm going to stop right now, but we'll pick this, the glamour ingredients. Let's pick that up next time because there's a little more to say. I've just touched on it, but that's the answer, guys. Show me the nutrients. Was that Jerry Maguire? Show me the money, show me the nutrients. And I'm the only one so far that I've seen on the internet with all these pet food ads and all these people that think they're experts. I'm the only one saying it, and that's pathetic. That's really sad. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm motivated, and I love doing this. So thanks for the time, and I will catch you next time.